And Asian Americans in the United States are outraged after a white man killed 8 people at a massage parlor in Atlanta. Most of the victims were women of Asian descent. A U.S. lawmaker said that the Asian American community was bleeding from a recent surge in violence and discrimination. People have been gathering in small groups to show their resentment against the course of investigation. Investigators say that the 21-year-old suspect has suggested that sexual frustration led him to commit the crime. However, people from the Asian American community are disappointed that security agencies have shied away from calling it a hate crime which stemmed from racial animosity.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out today.
Ho! These white supremacists have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
The sheriff, what they say was like because of a sex addiction. That's really ridiculous.
Violence is the greatest form of
it's not a humanity response, and they don't need to looking for any excuse
more than all other causes
for perpetrator, right? It's not how the perpetrator defined what a hate crime is.
We gotta call it for what it is, and what it is a hate crime. We don't need anyone to tell us that we don't know if it was racially motivated or not. We can see with our own eyes that this was a hate crime. And anyone who says otherwise is a coward and refuses to believe the truth.
It's important for us to be there wherever there is an opportunity to speak against hate, speak against violence.
Person that perpetrated these horrendous murders, obviously was a product of this kind of, anti-Asian and anti-woman, mentality that has been permeating through society. And our hearts go out, to the victims of this, and we have to speak out and stand up to stop this kind of thing from happening in the future.
Meanwhile, the Atlanta police chief has said that nothing is off the table in their investigation, including whether the killings were a hate crime. Investigators believe that Robert Aaron Long had visited the 2 Atlanta massage parlors where 4 women of Asian descent were killed. Other 4 victims were killed at a spa shortly before that.
We still have an investigation that is still ongoing. Our investigation is separate from the Cherokee County's investigation. Our investigation is slightly different. We had 4 Asian females that were killed. And so we are looking at everything to make sure that we discover and determine what the motive of our homicides were. Our investigation is looking at everything, so nothing is off the table for our investigation.
Meanwhile, people in New York gathered to mourn the victims of the shootings. People chanted and brought flowers in honor of the victims.
Our elected officials, our community leaders. I can only hope desperate people showing up with a candle.
U.S. President Joe Biden directed flags on federal grounds to be flown at half-staff through sunset in honor of the victims. Biden said it was a mark of respect for the victims of the senseless acts of violence. The United States has witnessed a number of mass killings in recent years where police and investigators mentioned that the attackers had racist or misogynist tendencies. However, in this case, they say that target was a group of people marginalized in more ways than one. It is not yet clear if the targeted businesses offered sexual services. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.